It all started innocently enough when my buddy, Jake, inherited this old, creepy mansion from his eccentric great-aunt. The place was straight out of a horror movie, cobwebs, creaky floorboards, the whole deal. But Jake didn't care. He thought it was cool to own such a spooky joint. One day, while rummaging through the attic, we stumbled upon the cursed painting. It was this portrait of a woman with hauntingly beautiful eyes, but there was something off about her. You could feel it, like she was watching your every move. Now, I ain't superstitious or anything, but that painting gave me the creeps. I told Jake to get rid of it, but he brushed it off, thinking it was just an old piece of art. Oh boy, how wrong we were. That night, strange things started happening. We'd hear footsteps when no one was there, doors slamming shut by themselves, and that painting, it seemed to follow you around the room. I know it sounds crazy, but I swear those eyes were alive. As days passed, Jake's behavior changed. He became moody, obsessed with the painting. He'd stay up all night, staring at it like it held the secrets of the universe. But I knew better, that painting held something sinister. I tried to intervene, but he wouldn't listen. It was like the cursed painting had him under its spell. And then, one night, I saw her move. I swear to you, her lips twitched into a wicked smile. I couldn't believe my eyes, but I knew what I saw. The next morning, I woke up to find Jake missing. The cursed painting was gone too. Panic set in, and I searched the mansion, calling out his name. But there was no sign of him anywhere. Days turned into weeks, and there was no trace of Jake. The police couldn't find him, and I was left to wonder what happened. But I had this sinking feeling that the cursed painting had something to do with it. Then, one stormy night, I heard a knock on my door. I opened it to find Jake standing there, but he was different. His eyes were hollow, devoid of any emotion. It was like he was a walking corpse. He invited me to his place, and against my better judgment, I followed. The mansion was even spookier now, with an eerie silence that weighed on my chest. And there it was, the cursed painting, hanging on the wall like a malevolent specter. I tried to reason with Jake, but his mind was gone. He spoke in hushed whispers about the woman in the painting, how she promised him eternal life in exchange for his soul. I knew then that I had to destroy that cursed painting. So, I mustered up all my courage and grabbed the nearest heavy object, a candlestick, and swung at the painting with all my might. But the damn thing wouldn't budge. The woman in the painting laughed, a wicked, bone-chilling sound that echoed through the mansion. "You can't destroy me, mortal," she taunted. "I am bound to this cursed canvas, and I will claim every soul that dares to possess me." I felt a cold hand wrap around my heart, and I knew I had to get out of there. But as I turned to leave, I caught a glimpse of myself in a dusty old mirror. My reflection was fading, as if I was becoming one with the cursed painting. Fear gripped me, and I ran as fast as I could. I made it out of the mansion, but the curse followed me. Every owner of that painting met a grisly fate, and I was no exception. Now, I wander from place to place, a ghostly figure haunting the cursed painting wherever it goes. I warn people to stay away, but some are drawn to its eerie allure, just like Jake was. You know, I always thought this old house was creepy, but I never imagined what horrors lay hidden in its forbidden attic. It all started when my family moved into the place. I was stoked about having my own room, but there was one rule: stay away from the attic. Mom and Dad made it crystal clear, like it was some kind of haunted hotspot. Naturally, my curiosity got the better of me. One night, when everyone was asleep, I tiptoed up to the attic door. The hinges squeaked, and it felt like the whole house was listening. As I climbed the creaky stairs, the air grew colder, and a shiver ran down my spine. The attic was like a forgotten world, filled with dusty old furniture and cobweb-covered boxes. And that feeling, man, it was like eyes were watching me from every dark corner. But the scariest thing was the whispers. Soft, barely audible voices that tugged at my ears. I thought I was losing my mind, but when I listened closer, it was unmistakable, children's whispers calling my name. "Come play with us, Timmy." I turned around, but no one was there. The attic was empty, just me and those haunting whispers. "Timmy, come play." I couldn't resist. I followed the whispers, my heart pounding like a bass drum. They led me to this old toy chest. I opened it, and inside were these ancient toys, creepy dolls with cracked faces, worn-out teddy bears, and broken wind-up cars. "Play with us, Timmy." I reached out to touch one of the dolls, and it felt icy cold, like death itself. But before I could pull back, the dolls started moving, their heads turned, their arms twitched. My blood froze as they surrounded me, their glassy eyes fixated on mine. And then, they started laughing, high-pitched, eerie laughter that made my skin crawl. I ran out of the attic, terrified and sweating like I'd just run a marathon. I tried to tell my parents, but they brushed it off, saying it was just my imagination. But I knew what I heard and saw up there. As days went by, I tried my best to forget about the attic and those creepy whispers. But they never left me, lingering in the back of my mind like a haunting melody. One night, when a thunderstorm was raging outside, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to go back to the attic. I needed to prove to myself that it was all in my head. The stairs seemed longer this time, and the whispers grew louder as I ascended. It was like they were eager to see me again. "Welcome back, Timmy." I reached the attic, and the toys were waiting for me, just like before. But this time, they weren't motionless. They moved, danced around in the dim light. "Join us, Timmy." Their voices were pleading now, like they wanted me to be part of their twisted little family. "No, I can't," I whispered, my voice trembling. But they wouldn't take no for an answer. The dolls lunged at me, their small, cold hands grabbing my arms, pulling me towards them. I tried to fight back, but they were surprisingly strong. "Play with us, Timmy." Their grip tightened, and I felt something inside me break. It was like they were stealing my soul, draining the life out of me. And as they laughed, I felt myself becoming one of them, a cold, lifeless doll trapped in the attic forever. The next morning, my parents found me in the attic, surrounded by those creepy toys. They thought I was playing a game, but they couldn't see the truth. Now, I'm just another whisper, calling out to the next poor soul who dares to enter the forbidden attic. And when you hear those haunting voices beckoning you, remember my story, run as fast as you can, because once you're in their clutches, there's no escape. So, don't let curiosity get the best of you. Stay away from that forbidden attic, or you might end up like me, a lost soul, forever trapped in a nightmare of whispers and broken toys. It was a moonless night, and I found myself wandering near the ancient cemetery. The air was thick with an eerie chill that crawled up my spine. The gravestones stood like shadowy sentinels, bearing witness to centuries of sorrow and despair. I had always been curious about this place, but tonight, something was different. As I stepped closer, a low rumble echoed through the ground. I froze, trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. But then, it happened again, a distant, unearthly scream that sent shivers down my spine. My heart pounded in my chest as I tried to decipher its origin. Was it an animal? A trick of the wind? Nervously, I pressed forward, my flashlight barely cutting through the darkness. The screams grew louder and more desperate, as if pleading for release from some unimaginable torment. My gut told me to run, but an inexplicable force pulled me in deeper. I reached the heart of the cemetery, where the oldest gravestones stood. The screams intensified, filling the air like a chorus of tortured souls. I could feel their pain, their anger, their suffering, clawing at my mind. And then, I saw her, a figure cloaked in darkness, her eyes like two glowing embers in the night. She seemed ethereal, otherworldly, but her screams were painfully human. It was as if she had been trapped here for eternity, unable to find peace. Fear gnawed at my insides, but I couldn't tear my eyes away from her. I wanted to help, to understand, but what could I do? I was just a mere mortal, lost in the realm of the unknown. In a moment of courage or madness, I called out to her, asking if there was anything I could do to ease her suffering. The moment the words left my lips, the world around me seemed to shift. The air crackled with energy, and I felt a cold hand grip my heart. She spoke, her voice a haunting melody of pain and longing. "Free me," she whispered, "and I shall grant you a gift beyond your wildest dreams." I hesitated, my mind racing with thoughts of what that gift could be. But the pull was too strong, and I knew I couldn't leave her here, trapped in this eternal nightmare. "Tell me what I must do," I said, my voice trembling. Her lips curled into a sinister smile, and she pointed to a decrepit mausoleum nearby. "You must retrieve the ancient artifact hidden within," she said. "Only then will my suffering end." As I approached the mausoleum, the screams intensified, as if warning me of the horrors that lay inside. But I pressed on, my curiosity and compassion driving me forward. The door creaked open, and a gust of cold wind rushed out, chilling me to the bone. The interior was pitch black, and I fumbled for my flashlight, praying it wouldn't fail me now. With each step, the screams grew louder, threatening to consume me. I felt a presence behind me, but every time I turned, there was nothing there. My heart pounded in my chest, and I wondered if I was walking into a trap. Finally, I found the ancient artifact, a small, ornate box adorned with strange symbols. I held it in my hands, its surface cold as ice. As I turned to leave, the door slammed shut, sealing me inside. Panic set in as the screams reached a deafening crescendo. The walls seemed to close in on me, and I struggled to breathe. In that moment, I realized the truth: there was no escaping this nightmare. As the darkness swallowed me whole, the figure appeared once more, her voice echoing in my mind. "Thank you," she said, her words laced with a wicked glee. "You have freed me, and now, you shall take my place." And just like that, the screams were silenced, replaced by my own agonizing cries. I had become the trapped soul, destined to haunt the ancient cemetery for all eternity.